Season 6 of Delta Force is finally upon us, and I unlocked the Marlin Lever-Action rifle in the game, maxed that baby out, and oh boy is it a fun weapon to use. It's probably one of my favorite weapons that has been added to Delta Force, hands down. It's just such a blast. It does a ton of damage, and it's a lever-action rifle. So what more do you need to say about it? So in today's video, I wanted to share my preferred build for it. Now, there's actually two that I like. There's one for longer ranges, but this one is more for like medium-ish to close range engagements, and it just absolutely slaps, and it's fun to use. So I wanted to share it with all of you today. So here we have the beautiful lever action rifle. We're going to start off by changing the barrel. Now you only have two options here: the close range barrel, which is the Pioneer barrel, and then the Marlin Hunter barrel, which increases the range by 9. Control, a little loss on handling here, but you do get extra patches, as well as a foregrip and a little bit of game on stability. So we're going to go ahead and install that. For the foregrip, now I chose to go with something a little bit different here. I went with the Phantom vertical foregrip. Now the reason being, I wanted to bump up the handling, as I wanted the ADS time to be super snappy and the hip fire or sprint hip fire aim speed super quick as well, which is why I put the Phantom vertical grip on there. For the lever, now this is probably one of the coolest attachment modifications you can make. So the Marlin Rhino lever, now it increases firing damage, reduces the fire rate, and you also have a special range fall off, and it reduces the actual fire rate, yeah, right here, by 25. So the base weapon shoots at 100 RPM, and then with the Marlin Rhino lever, it shoots at 75 RPM, but it does a whopping 100 damage to the chest with 60 to all the limbs and 190 to the head. So just an absolute chonker of an attachment, and you can kill anybody within that damage range of 30 meters now, because we did bump it up with the longer barrel. Otherwise it would be like 21 meters, which is not ideal. But yeah, this thing absolutely just destroys anybody, and it's a lot of fun to use. So go ahead and install that. For the stocks, you only have 5 options here. I went with the Marlin Bullpup rear grip to increase the accuracy by a whopping 32 at the cost of 2 handling and 2 stability, but we're going to make up for some of that handling and the stability, considering it's a lever action rifle. It doesn't really matter all that much, so go ahead and install that. For the optic, now I actually went for the bespoke optic for this weapon, which is the Marlin Watcher scope. So this is roughly a 4x magnification. It doesn't actually tell you the magnification of the optic, but yeah, this thing is just really good, and the ADS time is so fast on this thing, and considering that we're bumping up the hip fire a lot, you can do it. You can use this weapon both in CQB and longer ranges thanks to this thing. With the patches, I'm going with 3x DD Python handguard panels to increase the handling further, to really keep that ADS snappy as all hell. And then for the right rail, we're just going with a red laser here. So moving on to the calibration here, for the barrel, we're going to reduce the weight by 50 grams and reduce the length by 10 millimeters. Now, considering how fast the bullet travel time is for this weapon, the muzzle velocity felt whatever. It wasn't really all that important, considering we're mostly using this at medium range, but you can still do very well with it at longer ranges. For the foregrip, we're going with -2 slots and plus 20 millimeters to get extra stability when moving. I did find it was shaking a lot when I was moving, when it was too low, and then -2 slots to get extra ADS speed. And then lastly, for the Marlin Watcher scope, we're just going to reduce the eye relief by 20 millimeters. So looking at the actual stats of the weapon before I go rambling off here, as I said earlier, the damage is 100 to the chest and 100 to the stomach, up to 39 meters, after which you can see the damage drop off is roughly 0.9, and then there's a sharp drop off right here that's about like 65-ish meters, 60-ish meters. It does half damage, and then it's 0.5x damage all the way to the end. So still a lot of damage. Even past that 39 meter range, you're still doing 0.9 damage, which is still really powerful. But yeah, in CQB, just the hip fire on this thing is fantastic. I'm going to gush about it a little bit more in the end of the video. For the control, really not a main focus here, considering again it's a lever action. You're single firing it. It doesn't really matter how much recoil control you have on this thing. For the handling, so we have a nice snappy 288 milliseconds, knock off 50 for the laser, so we're bringing down to 238 milliseconds. So it is just instantaneous, even though we have a pretty powerful magnification scope on there. For the stability, we bumped it up by 1, but we did reduce the breath sway range and the breath holding duration. But again, I was mostly doing like flick shots and just quick scopes with the Marlin. And then with the accuracy, we bumped it up by 32. So as you can see, it is super tight and you can just hip fire people from really far away. So if we just go into the firing range really quickly here. So right here, that's like roughly 50-ish meters. So if we just hip fire, I was lucky I got a headshot right there. But yeah, you can hip fire people just from insane ranges. So if we bring it down maybe to like 20-ish meters, you know, ballpark that. I think I hit the one in the back there actually. But yeah, this thing is just an absolute blast to use. And as I said, the hip fire is so quick. It is just so freaking fun. Now, in order to unlock the Marlin Lever-Action rifle, all you need to do is go to the armory, make sure that is the attachment or weapon you are currently working on in terms of missions. So if we scroll all the way to the end here, I already unlocked it. For you, it might be closer or the first one here if you actually haven't unlocked it yet. But if we look at the missions here, so you need to complete 1 attack and defend or 1 King of the Hill match, then score 25,000 points, and then kill 30 enemy operators using a marksman rifle. And then you need to go and claim the Marlin Lever-Action rifle. And in order to use this specific build that I have for you today, you need to level up the Marlin to level 45. So pretty much at the end, I just used some of the weapon XP tokens that I had because I have like just thousands upon thousands of them. And if you've been playing pretty consistently since the launch of Delta Force, you probably also have a good chunk just sitting there waiting to be used on a new weapon. And yeah, it's about pretty much the max weapon level. Max is like 52, so pretty up there. But yeah, this Marlin Lever-Action, again, I can't state how fun it is to use. Just hip firing people from crazy ranges. The quick scoping is insane. You can get really good range on this thing. The muzzle velocity is just quick enough at those 100-meter ranges. You still will be able to, you know, get hits on targets without leading too much. And yeah, just 100 damage to the chest is just wild, and 190 to the head. So the only actual people you won't be, or the players you won't be able to one-shot is the assault players if they're wearing armor. If they're not wearing armor, then you're good to go. You're going to be able to murder anybody within 39 meters to the chest and the stomach. Then if you start getting those limb shots in there, you're still doing a ton of damage at 60. And honestly, 75 RPM isn't too shabby in terms of a rate of fire for the lever action. It's only 25 lower, but it still feels quick enough to get a follow-up shot, provided you can kind of like play around cover or something like that. You probably still will have a very good opportunity to kill that person, even if you didn't get them down in a single bullet. I've been having so much fun with this thing, and obviously I had played with it in the test server, but it's not necessarily the same as playing against players, obviously, because you're playing against bots. But yeah, I've been using it so much, I've almost unlocked the season's skin for it. So the mastery skin, which is the white one, I'm like right up there close to the 200 kill mark, and I've only started using it like for a few hours today. And yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. It's a shame that it's only available to the recon class, because I could definitely see myself using this as like Sting or something. And hopefully they may bring this weapon to other classes, because I feel like it's kind of like in that position where it's obviously not a meta weapon, and it probably never will be, but it's more in the same vein as the 7.25 double barrel. It's kind of like got that unique spot in all of the weapons where it's just a blast to use, but it's more of like a niche kind of weapon that most people probably won't use consistently. Same thing with like the compound bow. All those weapons are like, in my opinion, they should just make them available to everybody just so you can use them on any class, because they're never going to be super competitive. But yeah, let me know if you've had the chance to use the Marlin Lever-Action rifle yet. As per usual, the weapon share code will be in the description down below, as well as in the top pinned comment. In any case, I'll leave you a few highlight clips of me using the specific build. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.